We finally made it back from Vegas.
I don't know. I think part of me's still there.
It very well could be.
Holy moly, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, buddy, but you feel it when you come home.
Oh, that is the truth. But we had such a great time seeing a lot of our shops out in Vegas, meeting a lot of new great shops, and seeing some of our new partners.
Yeah, Shannon, also putting voices to faces and names to faces and stuff like that was a really great event to get to meet so many people that I've been dealing with, but never really actually saw, and like saying, hey, you're not as tall as I thought you were.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Exactly. And it's always a Apex in the SEMA show. There's always so much energy down there. It's exciting to be down there. And you know what? We even got to meet up with one of our newest partners.
Yes.
We did. We met up with the team at Elite Worldwide, which today they actually sparked the conversation for our live stream topic.
Yeah, they did, because Elite is a coaching company that believes in a lot of the same things that we do. And we realize that what they teach and preach and what our software does is a great package to help all shops come together and do better.
Absolutely. They very much go hand in hand. So they give you the theories behind it. They give you the coaching skills behind it. We help provide those types of software solutions to execute on those things.
Well said.
Oh, thank you. I've been practicing that one.
Very good.
So one of the things Bob Cooper, president of Elite Worldwide, he had talked about with our team was the idea of ethics and full disclosure. We know we are not the most trustworthy industry. It's a stigma that we have to fight against every day. What do you mean? Why do we mean this? Because everybody thinks we're ripping them off.
And unfortunately, they do. You know, I've been in many a situation where I haven't even been working in a shop and I hear people talking negatively about the business and whatnot. And I've actually been in parties where I've heard people talking about my business in a negative way. So
talk about the elephant in the room.
Yeah, it stepped right on me that day.
Yeah. Ooh. Well, so that's why we wanted to discuss it with everyone today. And, you know, before we came on live today, we were talking about how there really is a two-pronged approach to this, where, you know, on the obvious standpoint, all of our, many customers believe that auto repair shops are ripping them off. But then there's also another component to it that sometimes shops believe that they know what's best for the car, and things that they don't believe are worth fixing, really it's not their decision. It's the decision of the vehicle's owner, the person who's paying for it at the end of the day. So we're really going to talk about both of it. But where do you think this distrust comes from in this industry?
Well, it's kind of like a long history. It's kind of like snake oil. It's kind of like the car, the automobile, the vehicle is something that's always been very hard to understand. And a lot of people get in, put the key in, turn it, and go. So they don't have any idea what's going on underneath the hood, underneath the car and stuff like that. So what happens is there's that lack of understanding the technology.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a big point that when we are talking to our customers in both events that you're talking about here, is that we have to make sure that the customer understands that this is why. And that's one of the big things that I'm into, Shayna. Why?
Sure.
Why do I need my alignment? Why do I need my spark plugs replaced? All right. And what's going to happen if I don't? And I think that if we spend the time and educate the customers, that why is going to let them buy. Boy,
Absolutely.
I just made that up.
No, but it's very true. As someone who comes in, maybe they're only going in for an oil change. How often does this happen? They go in for an oil change. They think it's going to be a minimal cost, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 item lines later, you know, that's a pretty hefty bill. And, you know, when they don't understand why, they only see this is what needs to be done. They don't see the value.
They don't understand the value. You know, and that's the thing people don't realize. Nowadays, the oil change on the vehicle can be 7,500 miles. It could be once a year. So in between those oil changes, is anybody checking your brakes? Is anybody looking at your tires? And all those things. So when we bring the car in and you're doing that service, you're like, wow, I only have to do it once a year. But now we have to bring to your attention that there's other things that are going on. We got to check that. And that's the scary part about it, is that all these safety items are going unchecked for that period of time. So now when you come in and I go, Shane, well, this is what we found when we looked at your car, you're like, well, you're just trying to rip me off. Well, we're not.
Exactly. And for everybody that's watching us now, how do you feel? Are your customers coming in between those mandatory check-ins to check the rest of their vehicle? When they come in for their oil changes, and anytime they come into your shop, it's your duty to make sure that they are getting back out onto the road safely. So there's this whole idea of ethics that's wrapped around everything that you do in your automotive shop every time your customer comes to your door.
And there's liability too. If you just brought your car to my shop and your brakes are down to nothing, I have to tell you that. And, if I don't tell you, and if you decline to work and leave, I could ultimately be held responsible for it. So this is reasons behind we do these things. And unfortunately, there are those people out there that now are going to go to the opposite side. They're not only going to bring your attention what you really need, they're going to tell you there's other things that you need and you don't. So that's where our discussion is today.
Absolutely. And again, this is why videos and photos are so powerful in educating and communicating with your customers, because you're able to show them the level of really severity of some of these issues that they're having with their vehicle. And they can see over time, okay, my brakes looked like this a year ago, they look like this now, so they can make the comparison for themselves, and it's much more easy to understand and easy to process. And they know where their vehicle history is time and time again as they're coming to your shop.
And that's really important, because I believe that we show the customers the good, the bad, and the ugly. And you've probably heard me say that a million times. And the point being behind that is that if your brakes are good, and I can let you as a customer understand what that means, that distance is really good. And then next time you come in, I can show you it's a little less. And then I can show you, hey, it's time. You as a customer can focus on exactly what I'm trying to share with you. And on full disclosure, you can go back and look, just like you said. And you can also understand, forget about all the other hardware, the wheels and all that stuff. We're just talking about the brakes that you need today.
Absolutely.
And I feel very strongly, Shannon, that in this business, there's enough work out there that you can make a very good living without ripping anybody off or doing anything like that. Matter of fact, I know that I probably left a job or was asked to leave a job or two because I refused to go overboard with certain things because I had that belief. So that's where the ethics come in, that if we can take the time and we take the inspections, we use the tools that we have to educate and show the customer, build that history, that's ethics, that's ethical, and we can sell them with a good conscience.
Absolutely. And on the opposite side of this, we were talking about how ultimately the vehicles belong to the customer. It's their money that they're spending on the services, and it's their vehicle. So you need to give them the full disclosure of everything that's going on with their vehicle so they can make the best informed decision on behalf of their car. At this point, it doesn't come down to do I want to spend the money or do I not want to spend the money? It's, does my car need this or does my car not need this? And when you're able to give them all of the information necessary to make informed decisions on their vehicle, not only are they going to have confidence, they're going to have more trust with your business as well.
And that's really tough, because I've had that situation a number of times where I've looked over a car, I know the customer really well, and I walked up to him and said, listen, I don't feel comfortable for you making this investment. But just like you had said, we have to have that conversation, because now they might be able to turn around and go, well, I understand that, but I can't afford to move into another car. So what we've tried to do is work out something that allows them to make that repair, keep that car on the road, but also can we move them towards the next vehicle?
Sure.
And I'm fortunate because I had a lot of dealership experience, so I was able to walk customers up front and introduce them to people. And we were many times able to make that transition. Matter of fact, I used to get in trouble because we weren't repairing those cars because we were putting them in new cars. I mean, is that ethical? I mean, I'm trying to do the best for the customer, and yet my boss is telling me, hey, you're not selling enough. Why don't we fix that car? And there you go. No matter where you are in the business, folks, there's always going to be that yin and yang fighting over what you have to do. And that's tough.
Absolutely. So I think the two biggest things that we want to get across today is that when you're providing honest recommendations and you're giving the customer the power to make the best informed decision, that's when you're truly aligned with the ethics that you should be doing with your business. Be honest, be transparent, and give them the opportunity to learn alongside with you so that way they have power in making these decisions.
Yeah, and that's why, once again, the digital inspection. It lays it all out there. Your customers can keep copies of the past visits so they can look back. And it's right there. I've even heard service advisors, I like these new inspections because sometimes there's techs out there. They're going to tell you need something, but now I want to see a picture of it as the advisor before I talk to the customer. And we all need little checks and balances.
Absolutely.
We make mistakes. We do things that, we shouldn't, like in Vegas. But anyway, I didn't do anything wrong.
We swear. But yeah, so I think this was a good discussion. And again, we want to thank Bob Cooper over at Elite. We're very grateful for our new partnership. But more importantly, this was a really great conversation that needed to be had. And we hope that you're doing really the best for all of your customers at your business as well. Again,
I agree. And again, you can make a great living in this field being ethical and being honest and being open. And I hope that all of us take that to heart and realize that that can make a difference.
And as one shop does it, we all do it, and we move forward as an industry to really fight against this stigma that's been haunting us from time and time again. So that is the discussion for today. We want to hear what your thoughts and ideas are for upcoming.
Yes, upcoming, the thing is, we're trying to answer questions, and we know people are watching. Do us a favor, help us out, give us some information or some questions that you are trying to struggle with. And that's one of the things, because, we have contact with other shops.
Yes.
They may have already solved the problem that you're having, or the discussion that you want us to have, we may have already had it. So please feel free, send it in there, put it down there, or wherever it fits, and we'll take a look at it.
And we'll go from there. But thanks for tuning in, everyone. We'll see you next week.
So long.